Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Stacy Spivey. Eric and Martin are off, so look who's joining us.
It is a miracle that they let me come back to this show so often.
Well, we love having you here on the 4 to 5.
I love being here.
Of course.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Happy Monday to you. Thank you for watching on TV, on Facebook, on our app, on Roku, on Fire Stick, everywhere. Come join the conversation.
And right now we are tracking storms across our area. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley is tracking those storms. Where is that system now?
Yeah, Stacy, we've been watching this for a couple of hours. We even interrupted some programming earlier because we had a few tornado warnings. Right now, none of those. We do not have any tornado warnings for our area, but as part of a larger system and kind of this first big band of rain and storms is moving through. So let me set the scene for you. We're going to have a big dry area move in after that line pushes through your area. So Alamance County, it's been tough for you for a little while. Good news, the worst of the storm has moved on by. You don't have a severe thunderstorm warning anymore, but you still have heavy rain. That will take a little while, maybe half an hour to taper off. You do have now a flash flood warning. We've seen some pictures from Burlington. Looks like there's a lot of water on the road, so you're going to have to be very careful if you have to be out and about, and remember not to drive through it. Guilford County, improving conditions here. We still have heavy rain in the northeast side of the county, but otherwise it's getting lighter. Heavier rain still pushing up into Rockingham County and Reedsville. No lightning, no storms there, but overall not too bad at the moment. We're going to get a gap in the action, as I said, probably for several hours, but we're watching next some showers and storms right here from South Carolina into Georgia. They are pushing north and east, and that would be our next round probably a while from now. It'll take that until around 8, 9, and 10 o'clock before it moves in. So here's Futurecast. There's line number 1. Off it goes. There's your gap. And then here's right around 8, 9, and 10 p.m. We could have another round of showers and some storms. Of course, with this weather moving into our area, good time to download our News 2 app if you don't have it already. It's easy. It's free. You can get it in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. You get the latest weather updates from our team at any time.
Now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. A man accused of kidnapping a child during a carjacking made his first court appearance today. Winston-Salem police say Raymond O'Neill stole a woman's car on Saturday. They say the woman had made a quick trip inside the sheets on Glen Center Drive and left her 3-year-old child in the car. Investigators say when she returned, the car and her child were gone. 45 minutes later, Thomasville police found the child abandoned in a car seat on Winston Street. The child is okay and reunited with the mother. Later, Randolph County deputies arrested O'Neill after receiving reports of a driver sleeping behind the wheel, blocking traffic in Thomasville. O'Neill is facing several charges, including first-degree kidnapping. More of this developing story. We'll have more from that on WFMYnews2.com. And remember the story we first told you about last week involving the woman drug out of her car during a carjacking in High Point? Well, thankfully, her car was found over the weekend, and police say the suspect used it to steal another car in Greensboro. Officers spotted 20-year-old Kazi Gladden driving a stolen white Mercedes on Saturday. They tried to pull him over, but he drove off. After a short chase, police were able to arrest him. Police say that this is the 4th time Gladden has been arrested since 2018 involving a stolen car or a gun. He faces various charges and is in jail without bond. Right now, economists say drivers should expect record high gas prices this Memorial Day. According to Gas Buddy, the national average price at the pump has risen 11 cents in the last week, averaging $4.57 per gallon today. Here in Greensboro, prices went up about 12 cents in the last week. The average is $4.35 a gallon. Gas Buddy says prices are actually appearing to slow down for now, but the decline is temporary.
All right, 2 Wants to Know has a consumer alert for you right now, and it has to do with this right here. That's right, good old Jif. Jars of it are being recalled. Peanut butter, it is a staple, my friends. Come join me over by the recall sign because It's big. This is big news. It's something that everybody needs to know about because chances are you have an impacted jar.
Yeah.
It's funny, both of us had impacted jars. You threw some of yours away today?
Yeah, we had 2, so I just tossed them in the trash can.
And mine too. Thankfully, Tanya put this great tutorial online, so we were able to see just what was recalled.
I know, because it's a little funny because they have all these numbers and stuff like that. So let me show you the long list of what's going on. This is the Jif site. It explains the recall and then lists every single product that is impacted. And when you scroll down, you're going to see this. There is a whole bunch out there. There's a lot of information information, but starting on the left, that number is the barcode, the kind of peanut butter, and then the lot code. That's really what you're looking for, is the lot code. Now, here's where you find the numbers that you need. Okay, it's not this. It is not the barcode, okay? You're looking for the lot numbers, and that's underneath where it says best if used by date, and you're specifically looking for this number right here, this sequence of number 425. That's what you're looking for. 2 Wants to Know has made it really easy for you. The step-by-step process for checking your jar online is there right now. The process of how to get reimbursed for your recalled jars on there too, so look in the 2 Wants to Know section. Hey, you know, the recall danger centers all around salmonella. Even if you've eaten a lot of the jar and you haven't gotten sick, I want you to just consider yourself lucky, and I want you to stop eating it. Take it back to the store, swap it for another brand, wait for whatever Jif's reimbursement is, but do not eat it. Here's what salmonella can do.
Salmonella is responsible for about 1 million causes of food poisoning every year. And basically, when you ingest the bacteria, about 12 to 72 hours later, you can develop nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fever, stomach cramps. It's typically self-limited, so it resolves within 4 to 7 days in most people. But in some people, it can get into the bloodstream. It can become a little more serious diarrhea requiring hospitalization, rarely death.
Now, Jif is being traced to a multi-state salmonella outbreak with at least 1 case right here in North Carolina.
Now to a social post that's got a lot of people talking. A restaurant owned and operated by a Burlington family is preparing for major changes. Zach's Hot Dogs on Davis Street posted this on Facebook, revealing an ownership change after being family run for nearly 95 years. The post has more than 700 shares and 200 comments. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey stopped by Zach's to find out more about the changes.
Yeah, Chad, Zach's Hot Dogs is under new ownership. After almost a century of running the Burlington business, the Tulipis family has officially sold the place. It's the end of a chapter for Zach and his family, but it's the start of a new one for the restaurant.
My grandfather bought the business in 1928. Don't know how long the business originally was open, but it's been in my family for 94 years now. And I started working here when I was 5. Did it every summer as a youth, and started here full time in 1981.
Zach says they sold the Burlington staple to another Burlington businessman. Longtime customer Rick Gunn says he hopes the new owner keeps everything the exact same.
Zach's is an institution. There's no other way that you can look about it. It's all about family and it's all about memories. It has been the center of Burlington when it comes to restaurants forever. Everybody planned all their family events around a meal at Zach's.
Even though Zach sold the restaurant, he says there's a good chance you'll still see him hanging around the spot. He'll be there training the new crew until July, so that everything that you know and love about Zach's will remain the same.
Jalen, thank you. Monique, you have had a busy afternoon today tracking severe weather moving through our area.
Yes, and I'm happy to say that the radar is taking a break in our neck of the woods. The active weather is staying well to the east of us. A new tornado warning has popped all the way to the east of us, not including our viewing area, but still looking out for rainfall still as we go through the evening, and some places seeing some flooding, especially up in northern Burlington area, just north of Burlington. If we look in Alamance, around 3.2 inches of rainfall so far. And as the rain continues this evening, flooding is likely in a lot of places across the central Piedmont, but specifically looking at northern Alamance County as the rainfall continues to accumulate. Again, we always say this when we have rainfall: turn around, don't drown. A lot of severe weather impacts related to flooding can lead to death from a lot of folks trying to drive through flooded roadways. So we always discourage folks to drive through flooded roadways whenever that does occur. And as we go through tonight, continuing looking at the possibility of more showers coming up. I'll talk more about it.
All right, I am talking about mental health. Why are so many people struggling right now?
Right now, doctors are sounding the alarm on the importance of proper mental health care. Americans say they're stressed amid rising inflation rates, the war in Ukraine, and the spread of COVID-19. While these concerns likely aren't going anywhere soon, experts like Blanca Cobb, who has a master's degree in psychology, recommended getting in front of your mental health and finding ways to cope. So Blanca, can you elaborate on more about what's weighing heavy on folks' minds right now?
There is so much that is weighing heavy on everyone's mind. I mean, if you talk about from the pandemic, the polarizing sides of the pandemic, about whether to vaccine, to social distance, to rising inflation, people are trying to find ways of how to make ends meet, to pay rent, to pay bills, to pay food and gas, just the basics. It causes so much stress and the uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, how much longer people are going to have to suffer, and it's just exhausting. And a lot of people take that weight and they keep it on their own shoulders, which means it just weighs them down even more. They feel isolated.
I think we all feel that exhaustion, right? So what in particular makes it harder to cope with all of the instability going on in our society?
There is always a push to be independent, to be self-sufficient. And unfortunately, we still fight the stigma of mental health, that you shouldn't have any mental health problems. It means that you're weak. And we all know that's not true. It doesn't mean that you're weak. People, and because of the stigma and because of the push to be independent and self-sufficient, what happens a lot of times is that people will tackle it on their own. So they're even more isolated because they don't realize that other people are struggling, because they see it as a sign of weakness, unfortunately, even though it isn't. Again, it's just this big burden because it feels like you have to do it alone.
So how can people deal with the stress and uncertainty and in ways that will help protect their mental health?
Well, there are a few things that you can do to protect your mental health. And one, what you think is what you live. So if you're going to tell yourself that this is temporary, that you can get on the other side, that gives you hope. And we all need hope in order to push further, to keep going. And then we always hear, so this is the second way, you always hear to have good supportive people beside you, with you. But what does that really mean? So this is my challenge to you at home. When you pick people to be in your inner circle, you need to make sure that they really love you, that they really support you. And how this comes across is they're not judgmental. They're not criticizing you. That's the wrong kind of support. And I even challenge if that even is support. And the other thing is, and I'm going to sound like a broken record because you hear this all the time, you have to take care of yourself. You have to eat well. You have to get rest. You have to exercise, socialize, be around other people, dance, sing, journal, do things that are going to make you happy, that serves as a respite, that serves as a break from all the stress that you're having. You have to take care of yourself, and there should be a push for everyone to find ways to take care of themselves. And the last thing is talk about it. The more you hold it in, the more it's like this bubbling volcano that eventually is just going to erupt. talking about it. Don't let it bottle up inside or fester. It's the wrong thing to do. If you feel like it gets to the point where your friends or your family aren't providing comfort, then that's a time to be realistic with yourself and pick up the phone or do telehealth and reach out to a mental health professional.
Yeah, I think that is solid advice. Always have a good support system, take care of yourself, and reach out to professional help if you need so. Blanca, thank you. You can continue the conversation with her on her Facebook page. That's Blanca Cobb, body language expert. We'll be right back.
The radar has been busy today. An area of low pressure has been pumping in the moisture and even bringing some active weather to parts of not only us here in North Carolina, but also South Carolina. You can see this moving counterclockwise. This is the area of low pressure and it's moving to the north and east. And so as it continues to move north and east, a lot of that rainfall is shifting in that direction. You're seeing this tornado warning box pop up for areas east of us, well in the Raleigh area. But here, folks are starting to see a change of pace. If you are in Davidson County and even Randolph County earlier, you had the storms, you had the rain, you had the strong winds, and now the skies are starting to open up and look a little bit differently. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. Folks in Winston-Salem did get the very heavy rainfall earlier, and now you're getting some dry time. And then when we look further east, just right around Burlington, even Caswell County, the heavy rain is still there. This ongoing heavy rain through the day is going to lead to flooding, and already seeing images being sent into our newsroom of folks reporting flooding there. So this is a shot of our sky cam in Burlington where you can see just that one lonely raindrop. But if you look very closely, a lot of these roads do look wet, which is indication that rain did fall there, and it's continuing to fall right around that area. Current temperature is 69 degrees. The rain has cooled the air, and in some locations that are now getting a break from the rain are starting to warm up just a little bit, which we're seeing that in Winston-Salem, where temperatures now at 71, but elsewhere like Burlington, where it still continues to rain, we're seeing a temperature of 69 degrees, even down in Asheboro at 68. But like I said, as we're getting a little bit of a break from the rain, the temperatures can warm up a bit. But the rain isn't entirely done for today. And in fact, we're going to continue to watch the radar through this evening as the air still has a lot of moisture with it. These dew points reading in the upper 60s are still a key ingredient that could help for more storms to develop. But the good news is, as we go through the day tomorrow and Wednesday, Tuesday, we'll get a little bit of relief from that humidity as dew points fall to the 60s. So it's always important, and we always encourage you to download that WFMY News 2 app so that you are weather aware always. You can do it from the Apple Store or Google Play. You'll have the latest updates right in the palm of your hand. We'll see you when we get back.
Rising inflation is increasing the cost of just about everything.
Right now, there's a penny pinching hack circulating online that claims running your dishwasher every day is better for your water bill.
But is it true? Let's verify.
We do it every night. You might have seen it on TV. This commercial claims running your dishwasher every day can save on water. That's when our Verify emails started coming in. Multiple people asking us if this is true. So the question, does running your dishwasher every day help save water? Let's verify. Our source is Mary Geiger, owner of All About the Pipes Plumbing, Anta Plumbing and Drain, and Charlotte Water. We went straight to the city of Charlotte. In an email, Charlotte City Water told us it depends on if it's a newer, more efficient appliance and how full the dishwasher is. They then told us a plumber would have the best answer. So we reached out to Geiger.
So it is much more beneficial to use the dishwasher.
On Anta Plumbing and Drain's website, it also states the dishwasher uses half the water you would have used by hand washing the dishes.
You could use 20 to 30 gallons per hand wash load of dishes versus most of the efficient dishwashers nowadays use anywhere between 3 and 5 gallons.
Geiger says an average faucet, if you leave it running, can drain 2 gallons per minute. So even if your dishwasher is not full, she says it's a better option and more sanitary.
You're not using sponges or washcloths that are harbor bacteria.
So we can verify that yes, running your dishwasher every day can save on water.
And if you have a question or claim you'd like us to verify, email verify@wfmy.com and our team will look into it.
It's really interesting. Because, you know, you see those commercials all the time with all the people saying that they do it every night and they want you to think that it's something that's not the dishwasher. But I've been curious about it, so I'm glad that we finally verified it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy because we actually run the dishwasher every night just because it's easier with all the bottles and everything that we have with our daughter Baylor. So I'm happy to know that it's saving water. I can't stand it though, like when some people fill up the water in the sink and then they just like use all that dirty water to wash their dishes.
That's like what we used to do back in the day, right?
I know, right? So use the dishwasher, you save water.
And see, for me, I live alone, and so I don't know if maybe running it every day is worthwhile, but every couple of days,
I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
I'm not really into the hand washing thing.
No.
Too much work.
Just knives, because I always find that when I put like sharp knives or something in the dishwasher, they tend to get like rust spots on them.
Well, and then the stuff that obviously says you can't put it in the dishwasher.
Sure, right.
I let Jake do that.
Yeah. So consider doing it every night. We'll bring it back.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. I'm Stacey Spivey here with Monique Robinson and Chad Silver.
Hey there, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching on TV, on Facebook, Fire Stick, Roku, and our app. The big story today, the active radar that's already produced tornado warnings. Monique, you've been at it for hours now.
Yeah, it's been a busy afternoon for the WFMY weather team as we've been dealing with this active radar. And as we continue to watch this system move to the north and east, folks are starting to see different things. Now, if you were in Winston-Salem with us during the start of the 4 p.m. hour, it wasn't raining. And now as we look at the radar currently, we're starting to see some rain move through and we get that dry slot now shifting across portions portions of Guilford County. So folks in Greensboro are starting to see their skies improve, but just briefly, because then we're talking more rain moving into the area. So when I widen this picture, I want you to be able to see this entire area of low pressure that's making its way across Tennessee and North Carolina and moving further north. And we can see further south, just right around South Carolina, this new tornado warning that has just popped up. So these straggler little storms that are forming along the Georgia and South Carolina borderline are going to be continuing to keep our eyes glued to the radar, because if any of these continue to produce a spin up like we're just starting to see with this one, we could be having to watch out for another potential of active weather as we go through the rest of the day. So this is a look at the futurecast, what we can expect over the next couple of hours. We get a little bit of dry time, more rain moves through as we end out the evening. Then as we go into Tuesday, things get drier but cooler. Temperatures staying in the upper 60s. Now, you can always stay weather aware by downloading that WFMY News 2 app, and it's easy to download. I mean, you can do it from the Apple Store or Google Play. You have the latest updates right in the palm of your hand.
A welcome sight for parents all across the U.S. This is a plane filled with 39 tons of baby formula, enough to fill more than 500,000 bottles. But where is it going and how can parents get it? The formula being shipped to the U.S. is for babies with allergies to cow's milk. This first shipment is from the Nestle plant in Switzerland. It's now at the Nestle Distribution Center in Indiana, where it will go through standard checks before heading out to hospitals, pharmacies, and doctors' offices across the country. Another 114 pallets of Gerber's hypoallergenic formula is expected to arrive this week as well. I asked the Deputy Director of the National Economic Council if any of that will be coming to North Carolina.
The distribution of getting that product to the consumer is going to be run by the company itself, by Nestle and Gerber through their normal channels. But the normal channels for this kind of product, because it is specialized and it's for medical purpose, doesn't necessarily go to all the normal retail stores.
Now, she couldn't answer if it would specifically come to our state, but that it will hit certain stores' shelves. She says by the end of this week, there will be more than 1.5 million 8-ounce bottles of special formula brought into the country. For other non-specialized formulas, Fazali says the Defense Production Act will hopefully get more cans on shelves.
You will start seeing more and more companies get announced who have been authorized to now sell in the U.S. and ship their products in the U.S. So we'll have more announcements on that shortly.
I also reached out to both the Guilford Health Department and State Health Department. As of right now, they tell me they are not sure of how much of the formula will arrive in our state or when.
The State Health Department also released a substitution guide for families having trouble finding formula. This is a chart of safe alternative options to standard formula brands. Experts say generic and store brands are good choices. You can see this list in detail on the State Health Department's website. If you or someone you know needs help finding formula, the federal government set up a website to assist families. It's hhs.gov/babyformula. It was so great to see that plane come in over the weekend with all of that formula on board.
Yeah, it was a sigh of relief, definitely for my family. This weekend, we had run out of formula. It was time to get another, can of it. I got into Walmart, very bottom shelf. The 2 cans that we needed to get were hidden behind other ones.
Wow.
I mean, we were lucky just to find those, and
Right.
my mom's now shipping some from Arkansas, but I felt that, sense of panic and stress. So to be able to see that some are coming into the country is definitely helpful to know, especially because my daughter does have that cow's milk allergy.
And so how long will those 2 cans last you?
Probably about 2 weeks, maybe.
Wow, okay. So,
Maybe.
we keep hearing from the federal government that it could be 8 weeks, 2 months before we're back to normal. So, sounds like you guys, you still have something to worry about in the near future.
Right, and it's really those babies that are newborns to 6 months that are probably the most concerned, the parents of those babies, because at least with kids 6 months and older, they can have regular food. They can have human food, baby food.
Right.
Whereas those up to 6 months, they can only have the formula.
Sure. I'm also thinking about all the parents who are adoptive parents who can't produce breast milk, and a lot of people dealing with this right now.
It is very, very stressful. So I think this is a good sign of the start of something to get cans on those shelves.
Absolutely.
And formula has been hard to find, right? So I asked you on Facebook what you've been having trouble finding at the store lately. Amy says baby formula and white chocolate raspberry creamer. A lot of people mention coffee creamer. Ricky writes, the money to pay for it. Prices are so high on everything. Helen can't find sugar-free cookies. And Joy says Jif peanut butter, it was recalled, as we mentioned earlier in the show. Winnie thinks, nice, polite shoppers, what has happened to mankind? Kenny says Cinnabon coffee creamer, haven't been able to find any in over 2 weeks. Rhonda says she can't find saltine crackers. She was one of many that said that. And for Latrice, it's Murray's butter cookies. He says it's been well over 6 months. He says, I'm about to get violent, LOL. I love those cookies.
I mean, you got a broad range of stuff there.
Right? But a lot of people were talking about coffee creamers, which I find odd, and then the saltine crackers.
Interesting.
I mean, have you noticed anything?
I don't think so. And if I did, I would just assume that it's sold out, you know, and maybe next week
Or maybe
I'll get it.
they are not, making it anymore. I don't know about the coffee creamers, but.
That's strange. And I know, we keep talking about the reasons why the things are out. And I know that the war in Ukraine is actually one of the reasons that we are seeing big shortages here. The country says that Russian forces are actually hitting more targets in the Donbas region. Ukrainians are fleeing some villages under intense attack and fear the fall of Ukraine's largest city could be near. Meantime, Ukraine held its first war crimes trial since the invasion. A court sentenced a 21-year-old Russian soldier to life in prison after admitting to shooting a 62-year-old civilian in the head. The soldier says he was instructed to do so by Russian leadership. As war efforts ramp up in Ukraine, surrounding countries are on alert. Today, President Biden mentioned a longtime U.S. war policy involving the invasion of Taiwan. It's called the One China policy and could involve Americans going to war.
President Biden made international headlines when answering a question from CBS News' Nancy Cordes about what would happen if China invades Taiwan.
Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes, that's a commitment we made. We are not. Look, here's the situation. We agree with the One China policy. We signed on to it and all the attendant agreements made from there. But the idea that it can be taken by force, is just not appropriate.
Under the One China policy, America recognizes and has formal ties to mainland China, but does not endorse Beijing's position that Taiwan should be governed by China. The White House has tried to soften the president's comments, saying our policy has not changed and that the president simply committed to provide Taiwan with the military means to defend itself. China immediately responded, saying Taiwan is part of Chinese territory. We do not allow any country to interfere in China's domestic affairs. President Biden's trip to Asia is aimed at signaling his focus on the region and his stated priority of countering China's influence. As part of the strategy, the White House on Monday morning announced what it's calling an economic framework with partners in the Indo-Pacific. The Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity is designed to promote trade and address issues such as climate change, supply chain resilience, and digital trade.
And it's clear there'll be a lot of hard work ahead of us to forge consensus on each of the framework pillars.
Critics say the framework is more symbolic because it does not offer incentives such as tariff relief.
Now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. A family of 4 safe after a house fire in Brown Summit. Investigators believe it was an anonymous Good Samaritan that saved their lives. It happened this morning around 4. The people in the home say someone rang their doorbell, alerting them to the fire. The house is destroyed. Fire officials are still looking into a cause and neighbors are looking for who rang the doorbell. Right now, police are investigating a double shooting in Greensboro. Officers say it happened downtown yesterday around 2 a.m. Investigators found the 2 victims on South Elm Street near West Washington Street. Both of the victims were treated at a nearby hospital. Police are asking anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers. Pfizer says its 3-shot series offers strong protection against COVID-19 for kids younger than 5. The company plans to submit data to regulators later this week. Right now, no vaccine is approved for the children under 5. That age group represents 18 million Americans. Some parents say they're anxious for approval to give their small children added protection. We'll be right back. I'm sure many of you have heard about golden doodles, right? A golden retriever and poodle mix. That's actually what I have. Or there's also a puggle. It's a pug and a beagle mix.
Yeah, these are designer dog breeds, and the hype around them is growing as more people look to buy them.
But as Veronica Ortega from our Michigan affiliate reports, the demand for these crossbreeds is drawing some concern.
Designer dogs have become very popular over the last several years. That's your puggles, pomskis, all the doodles, and more. And sometimes these hybrids still end up at shelters.
We've had Aussie doodles, we've had Bernedoodles, golden doodles, labradoodles, and none of them look the same.
The highly coveted golden doodle is just one example of this designer dog craze.
The idea behind it at its origin was to create the perfect service dog, to create the affability and sweet temperament of a golden retriever, but with the coat of a poodle, which is less allergenic only because it doesn't fall out in the environment. No coat is truly hypoallergenic.
Designer dogs are bred with the intent of getting the best qualities of each purebred parent, but that's not always guaranteed.
There's a lot of people out there who aren't working to better the breed. They're just, breeding again to make money.
Recently, 35 doodles were rescued from a puppy mill in Alabama and transported to West Michigan. The parents were used to breed litter after litter, the puppies selling for thousands of dollars.
As you can see of these adults, none of that money went into their care. They are in really rough shape.
While the goal for a certain look or coat is the desired outcome, experts say temperament needs to be considered and health screenings are essential.
We want to make sure that those breeding pairs that we're intentionally breeding for are healthy both behaviorally and structurally.
While these doodles are on their way to better lives, hundreds of thousands of mixed breed dogs remain in shelters around the country.
These are not dogs that are broken, because that is an old thought with shelter dogs. These are just dogs that had some unfortunate circumstances, and maybe some of them do need a little bit more specialized care, but they need homes just like all the others.
Unless a DNA test is performed, mixed breeds typically have unknown parentage, but they're no less deserving of a forever home.
I think it's so much easier to see past their breed and look at the actual individual dog, and that in turn makes the human and the dog more successful.
Hey, if you're looking for a furry friend, I know meteorologist Ed Matthews would recommend starting at your local shelter. You can see many that are available right now on our To the Rescue page on our website. Boy, some of those sad dogs in the shelter, I hated seeing that. It reminds me of the Sarah McLachlan commercial where all those dogs are like shivering and so sad.
Doesn't it make you want to run to the shelter and bring them all home?
Something.
I think when you have those doodly mixes, I don't know all the names, but the doodly mixes, they have that nice, fine, cool, coily hair. So you have to make sure you do cut it, because otherwise they end up looking matted and just sad, like the video that we saw.
That is so sad. Now, y'all know I talk about him a lot. My gold doodle Wrigley. He doesn't really have like the poodle-ish hair. Like, it's kind of curly, but he didn't really get the tight coils like some of them do. And we were fortunate that we got him from, they don't just breed and breed and breed. They just have a golden retriever and a poodle, and so they have puppies.
You just
and
let
got
nature
one.
take its course.
Exactly, yeah. So I think if it's that kind of situation, then it's a little better, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen her dog like in person?
No, aren't they big?
It's about the size of a small black bear.
Not black bear.
Black bear. He's a big boy. I mean, he's like, I think he's close to 100 pounds now. Wow. He's big, but he is a gentle giant.
And he loves Baylor.
He loves Baylor. He's very sweet with her. Yeah.
My dog doesn't like babies.
No?
She's a Shih Tzu poodle. And she's like, when we had babies over for events or parties or something like that, she's ready to knock the baby down. She's like very territorial. That's how the small dogs kind of get.
Yeah.
What is it, small man syndrome or something?
Never heard of that one before.
I don't think I have the wording right, but.
We're going to go to break. We'll look that up and we'll keep you in the loop. We'll be right back.
Well, depending on where you are, you may need an umbrella right now, or you may not. So let's check in on the radar to see who are those folks. Looking in Greensboro, things are dry, and even when we look further north around Reidsville, you won't need the umbrella, or further south in Asheboro, neither will you. But as we go through the next couple of hours, you may need it. As you see, this rain that's just to the west of you guys is going to be moving towards the north and east, and will bring you some showers as we continue to go through this afternoon. So that flash flood warning continues for Alamance County. Although the rain is moving out, the floodwaters are still there. So going to keep an eye out for that, at least for the next hour or so. So again, turn around, don't drown. I know it may sound cliche, but it's true. It's to keep you safe. So zooming in a little bit closer, we can see some of those dry spots across Guilford County, Greensboro, downtown being dry now. But if you're planning to head down there soon, grab the umbrella as you go, as the rain is expected to move in. We've seen scattered showers, and some of those downpours have been very heavy, especially if you are in Burlington or just north of that, just around Alamance County in general. We have seen a lot of rainfall estimates in that area. So right around 3.6 inches of rainfall just today. We've been seeing ongoing rain since about 11 a.m. this morning. So between 11 a.m. until now, this is how much rain we're talking through the day, which is a lot of rain in a very short period of time. And that's why that flash flooding potential is likely. So as we continue through the rest of today, going to continuously watch the radar as we go through the rest of your Monday. And then as we start today on Tuesday, still going to be dealing with some light showers, but we're talking the early part of your Tuesday. For the afternoon and kind of most of the day, it's really going to just be a cloudy, cool day, not necessarily what we're seeing today. So with the Futurecast featuring more rain chances, not only for tonight, but as we go through the day tomorrow, I just want to put an outlook for you guys as to what we're talking about in terms of rainfall totals as we go through this week. And some folks could see upwards of nearly 4 inches of rainfall, not only from just today, but as we continue to look at the forecast, as there are some more wet days. I've been holding tight to the 7-day, but here you have it. Look how cool we're talking tomorrow. Can you believe it? This past weekend, we had temperatures in the 90s, and now look at us talking about 60s for your Tuesday. Now, as we end the weekend, temperatures drying, rain chances drying out, but temperatures in the 80s. And I just want to remind you once again, you can always be weather aware by downloading that WFMY News 2 app. It's really easy. Just go to the Apple Store or Google Play, search WFMY News 2, and there you'll have the latest updates right in the palm of your hand.
Most people love a little friendly competition, but sometimes Coach Lamont says it's best to set aside the rivalries and work together. Today he shares a message about teamwork and how it helps achieve goals.
There was a man who had 3 sons. Each son constantly fought with each other. The father told his sons, "I'll give you each 10 sticks to break in half. Whoever breaks the sticks the fastest wins." This task took the sons mere minutes to complete, but once finished, they fought about who finished first. The father then said, "I'll give you each 10 more sticks. However, you must break the sticks as a bundle rather than individually." They each tried their best, but none could break the bundle in half. In response, their father said, "It was easy to break the sticks individually, but difficult to break all 10 at the same time. If the 3 of you stay united as a team, nobody will be able to break you." Think on that one. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
I think it's a good message. You know, it's easy to get caught up in like friendly competition, like I want to do better than you and I'm going to do better than you. But you know, when you can all work together and maybe do something better than everybody else, not a bad idea.
Yeah, when you work on what you're capable of thriving in, when you're amazing anchor, working on being a better meteorologist, but you know, another amazing anchor, when everybody does their job well, when we come together, it's just like Powerhouse 45 show. Like today.
Yeah, we couldn't just do it by one of us by ourselves. Like I couldn't do weather and I couldn't hold a conversation by myself, right? Maybe sometimes, but you know, I think it's just so important. Like I think it goes back to parenting too. It's so hard to do alone, but if you have a team, you work together as a team, and then I think it benefits the child.
Yeah.
Was that hard at first, you know, when you met your, well, now your husband? I mean, to work together as a team. I mean, how do you know, do those duties together and separately?
I think when you first move in together, that's kind of when you figure out, okay, how do you work in this kind of environment? Who does the dishes? Who cooks? Who does
That
this,
dish
this,
conversation
and this?
keeps coming up in this show.
Well,
you guys have dishes at home that need to get done.
They wash them every
I'm
night.
responsible for the dishes. Jake does the cooking, I do the cleaning. That's the trade-off here. So it's like the teamwork, but the dishwasher does most of the dishes.
I mean, and the saying goes, teamwork makes the dream work.
It does.
And that's how we're going to end this 4 to 5. We'll be right back.
Hey, Callie. Real quick, top of the 5 is it Futurecast or Radar? Which one do you want? Radar. Okay.
Hi there. Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts.
Hey, Callie, do you know how this Cone Health Education Center is pronounced? Does anyone know?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
It's time for my 2 cents. There's a lot going on right now. Inflation, record high gas prices, baby formula shortages, a rise in crime, all on top of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's exhausting. I feel like every day I wake up and there's something else that just leaves me stressed or hurt. But this weekend, I was able to travel to Knoxville to watch my brother-in-law graduate from the University of Tennessee. For a weekend, I was able to forget about everything happening in the world and just spend time with family, celebrating this new chapter in Nick's life. I loved seeing the joy on my daughter's face with her grandparents, and I loved seeing all of the students cheering Rocky Top after officially becoming alumni. Honestly, it's just what I needed. It put in perspective that yes, life is hard and crazy and complicated, but in the darkness, there is light, and in sadness, joy can be found. Let's try to soak in these happy moments in life, whether big or small, celebrate the victories, and remember, this will not last forever. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.